The truth about INFJ friendships. You have a friend who listens to everything you say. Not just politely. Not halfway. But fully. They remember details you forgot you ever mentioned. A story you told years ago. A fear you brushed off as nothing. A dream you never followed through on. They show up when life falls apart. Not to fix you. Not to judge you. Just to sit with you in the silence. But somehow, they still feel misunderstood. Still unseen. Still alone. That friend might be an INFJ. Today, we're revealing the truth about INFJ friendships. Not the stereotypes. Not the surface-level personality traits you see everywhere online. But the real, rarely explained dynamics behind how INFJs connect. Bond, love, detach, and sometimes quietly disappear. If you're an INFJ, this video will feel uncomfortably accurate. You might pause it. You might rewind. You might feel called out in ways you weren't expecting. And if you love an INFJ, this might completely change how you see them forever. Stay until the end, because number 8 explains why INFJs walk away without warning, and why it hurts them far more than anyone ever realizes. 1. INFJs don't collect friends, they select them. INFJs are not social collectors. They don't chase popularity. They don't need approval from groups. They don't feel validated by being surrounded by people. And they definitely don't want shallow connections. For an INFJ, friendship isn't about quantity. It's about alignment. Instead of collecting friends, INFJs select them. Carefully. Slowly. Intentionally. An INFJ might meet someone and seem friendly, warm, and open. But that doesn't mean you're in. What most people don't realize is that INFJs operate with layers. The outer layer is kindness. The middle layer is curiosity. The inner layer is trust. Very few people ever reach that inner layer. An INFJ can spend months, or even years, observing someone before fully letting them in. They're watching how you treat people who can't offer you anything. They're noticing how you react when you're stressed or frustrated. They're listening to how you talk about others when no one is around. They're not just hearing your words. They're sensing your intentions. This isn't judgment. It's protection. INFJs feel deeply. They process deeply. They attach deeply. And because of that, they know that the wrong friendship can cost them emotional peace for years. So every potential friendship must pass an internal filter. Is this person emotionally safe? Are they honest, or just charming? Do they take accountability, or do they avoid responsibility? Will this connection nourish me, or slowly drain me? This is why INFJs often have very few close friends. Sometimes just one. Sometimes none for long periods of time. But the ones they choose, they're chosen with intention. With hope. With the belief that this connection will last. INFJs don't enter friendships casually. They enter them with their whole heart. If this already feels familiar, stay with me, because the next point explains why INFJs can love deeply and still seem distant at the same time. 2. INFJs love deeply, but quietly. INFJ friendship love is not loud. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't demand attention. It doesn't need constant reassurance. INFJs may not text every day. They may not post pictures together. They may not say, "I miss you," out loud very often. But their care runs deep. INFJs express friendship through presence. Through listening without interrupting. Through remembering the things you thought no one noticed. They remember your childhood stories. The ones you casually mentioned and assumed were forgotten. They remember your fears, even the ones you hide behind humor. They remember your dreams, the ones you barely speak out loud because you're afraid they won't come true. And when you're hurting, they don't rush to fix you. They don't invalidate your pain. They sit with you in it. They feel it with you. That's because INFJs don't just empathize intellectually. They empathize emotionally. Your pain becomes something they carry inside their own body. But here's where the misunderstanding begins. Because INFJs don't perform their affection loudly, people often assume they don't care. They mistake quiet love for indifference. They mistake emotional restraint for distance. They mistake self-regulation for disinterest. Nothing could be further from the truth. INFJs care so deeply that they sometimes have to pull back just to survive emotionally. It's not rejection. It's not punishment. It's not loss of interest. It's self-preservation. INFJs step back to process their feelings, to calm their nervous system, to regain emotional balance. If you've ever wondered why an INFJ seems distant but still shows up when it matters most, this is why. 3. INFJs are emotional mirrors. One of the most misunderstood truths about INFJ friendships is this. INFJs absorb emotional energy. They don't just hear your feelings. They don't just understand them cognitively. They feel them. If you're anxious, they feel the tension in their chest. If you're sad, it settles into their body like weight. If you're angry, it creates inner conflict they didn't ask for. INFJs are emotional mirrors. They reflect back what others bring into the space, often without realizing it. This is what makes INFJs incredibly supportive friends. They know when something is wrong before you say it. They sense emotional shifts instantly. They understand feelings you haven't found words for yet. But this ability comes at a cost. If there's no emotional balance in a friendship, INFJs slowly burn out. They often become the therapist friend. The one everyone vents to. The one who always listens. The one who always understands. People feel safe unloading onto INFJs. But very few people stop to ask, how are you really doing? Who listens to you? Who holds space for your emotions? Over time, this creates emotional overload. INFJs begin carrying feelings that aren't theirs. They start absorbing stress, sadness, anger, and unresolved trauma. But they won't complain. They won't guilt trip. They won't demand reciprocity. They'll simply go quiet. They withdraw to recharge, to detox emotionally, to feel like themselves again. And this leads directly into the most dangerous misunderstanding in INFJ friendships, which we're talking about next. 4. INFJs need depth, not constant contact. INFJs don't measure friendship by frequency. They measure it by meaning. You can talk once a month and still feel deeply connected. You can talk every day and feel completely unseen. For an INFJ, emotional depth matters more than constant communication. They crave conversations that explore values, purpose, truth, beliefs, inner worlds, emotional growth. They want to understand how you think, why you feel the way you do, what shapes your decisions. Small talk drains them. Repetitive surface-level interaction exhausts them. This is why INFJs sometimes disappear. Not suddenly, not dramatically. They just go quiet. They retreat inward. They unplug socially. They reset their inner world. It's not because they stopped caring. It's because they need space to breathe emotionally. The irony: when INFJs come back, they expect the bond to still be there. They assume emotional continuity. They assume understanding. They assume the connection didn't require constant maintenance. And when it's not there, when the other person feels distant, resentful, or disconnected, that's when INFJs experience quiet heartbreak. They feel misunderstood. They feel like their way of loving wasn't enough. They feel like depth was mistaken for neglect. 5. INFJs test friendships without saying a word. INFJs rarely confront directly. Not because they're weak. Not because they're passive. But because they observe before they speak. They notice patterns. They track effort. They pay attention to consistency. If an INFJ starts pulling back, it's often a test. Not a manipulation. Not a game. A quiet question. Will you notice the shift? Will you reach out without being asked? Will you care enough to check in? If the answer is yes, the bond strengthens. If the answer is no, the INFJ takes note. They won't argue. They won't accuse. They won't explain what you did wrong. They simply adjust their expectations. They downgrade the friendship internally. This is why people are often shocked when an INFJ eventually walks away. From the outside, it looks sudden. Inside, it was a long process of realization. Now we're entering the part most people never talk about, the INFJ loyalty paradox. 6. INFJs are loyal to a fault. Once an INFJ commits to a friendship, they are all in. They defend you when you're not present. They believe in you when you don't believe in yourself. They see your potential even when you can't. They stay longer than they should. Sometimes much longer. INFJs will excuse behavior that hurts them. They'll rationalize disrespect. They'll give chance after chance. Why? Because loyalty, to an INFJ, is sacred. They don't give their heart easily. So when they do, they protect the bond at all costs. But here's the truth most people never realize. Every INFJ has a breaking point. And once that point is crossed, something changes permanently. They don't explode. They don't seek revenge. They don't create drama. They emotionally detach. Which brings us to the most misunderstood INFJ friendship behavior of all. 7. The INFJ door slam is not cruelty. The INFJ door slam isn't coldness. It's survival. After repeated emotional harm, broken trust, or deep disappointment, INFJs shut down emotionally. They stop feeling. They stop trying. They stop hoping. From the outside, it looks sudden. Inside, it's the final step of a long internal process. INFJs don't door slam lightly. They do it when staying hurts more than leaving. And here's the part no one sees. Even after the door slam, INFJs grieve. They replay memories. They question themselves. They mourn what could have been. They just don't go back. 8. Why INFJ friendships are rare, but unforgettable. INFJ friendships change people. Not because INFJs try to, but because they see people deeply. They reflect truth. They encourage growth. They offer emotional safety few ever experience. That's why people often say, "No one ever understood me like you did." And that's why losing an INFJ friend leaves a quiet, lasting absence. INFJs don't want many friends. They want real ones. Connections that grow, that heal, that evolve. If you have an INFJ friend, cherish them. If you are an INFJ, know this. Your depth is not a flaw. Your selectiveness is not arrogance. Your need for meaning is not too much. It's who you are. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to understand INFJs better. Subscribe for more deep personality insights. And comment below. Are you an INFJ, or do you have one in your life? Because understanding is the foundation of every real friendship.